Hey Playo, welcome to the YouTube live stream. Today I'm going to be sharing my best advice for starting a conversation with anyone. But first, if you're new here, I want you to know my name is Josh, and every single Monday through Friday I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. So you're here at the beginning of the Q&A. I'm going to run through the chat. I want everyone who's in the chat right now to start posting your questions, different situations you've run into, different questions you've had about starting a conversation, how to keep one going, what are things you should talk about, anything that's on your mind or anywhere you get tripped up. I want you guys to share it. But if you're someone that is new here, I would definitely recommend subscribing because I make videos like this that can really help you be your best self. Now, everyone who hasn't already, hit the thumbs up button. I'm going to jump over to the chat and look to see who's here. It looks like the same people who are always in the live chat, so it's always good to see familiar faces. Everyone here who's been here before, say hi. Jump in the chat and say hi, guys. I see DDR Shane is here, RB's here, Benjamin. Good to see you guys again. David, Gamerski, Atlanta Boy ZV Vlogs, Joanna Lazo. How's it going, guys? I'm happy that you're here. So the reason why I titled this live stream "My Best Advice for Starting a Conversation with Anyone" is because I wanted to share some of the things that I've learned over the years that kind of it took me a lot of it took me a few mistakes to kind of realize, hey, you know what? Like, I can approach a conversation better if I do this. I can get a person more engaged if I say this. So those are different things I wanted to share with you guys here. And I definitely wanted to get into questions that you guys had, different things that you think about whenever you jump into a conversation with someone. So one of the first things I really wanted to share was, just this idea of kind of getting over your fear or getting out of your head when it comes to actually talking to someone, which is what I think a lot of people run into, right? Let's say there's someone you want to talk to, whether it's someone you want to be friends with or someone that you like or someone that you're just interested in but a little intimidated by, right? Have you ever felt that feeling of like fear that if you do approach them, you won't know what to say, or they might reject you, or you might just look stupid or feel stupid in some way? I've been in that position so many times. Looking back, it's like I remember when I was in high school, I used to think that all the time, and middle school and college. It's like I was so afraid to approach people and to talk to them because I always felt a little bit like everyone else had things put together and I didn't. Like, oh, this person is cool, calm, collective, like everything's fine for them, and I'm just an awkward, weird person, me by myself. Have you ever felt like you were like an awkward, weird person surrounded by everyone else who just had their lives together? If you've ever been in that position, that's definitely where I've been, what I've been in, tons of times where, I hold myself back based on thought. I overthink in a situation. I don't know what to say. And therefore, I just negate it and ignore it altogether. So I see Benjamin jumped in here, said, Josh, can you help me, please? My crush is really sensitive around guys. I think that if your crush is kind of sensitive around guys, that could mean a lot of different things. So is she sensitive in the sense that she is afraid that guys make fun of her, they tease her, and she doesn't really like that type of language or being told those things? Is she sensitive in the sense that she's afraid that people are not going to accept her for who she is? So Benjamin, if you can clarify that point, I'll go more in depth on that. Let's see. Fran Plays says, how do you kiss a girl? That's a good question, Fran. I'm definitely going to dedicate a whole week to things like kissing, making out, different bases, what you should do at what age and things like that. But the short answer on whether and pretty much how to kiss a girl is this. It's when you want to go for a kiss, right? A lot of people think kissing automatically means making out and like just full on that. A kiss can be something simple. It could just be a peck kiss. It could just be, a tap kiss and you hold it for a few seconds. The key really is not to try to push kissing into something really, really more in-depth as at the beginning, especially if you've never kissed someone before or you don't know really how to do it. The process of kissing, I think, is a very simple thing. It's just a matter of touching your lips with someone else's. You don't have to kind of squeeze your lips and push them tight together. It could just be a simple peck on each other's lips. So that's something that I wouldn't worry so much about in the sense of like how to do it wrong, especially if both of you have never done it before, but don't try to jump into it and be too forceful. I think that's the most important thing you should know. So Arby says, when's your book coming out? Arby, that's a good question. My book is already out. For those of you that don't know, I have a book called Embracing the Awkward. It's a guide for teens to succeed at school, life, and relationships. And it kind of encompasses all the different ideas I talk about in The Josh Speaks. So if you want to jump ahead and order that book, you can do that over on Amazon. The book is called Embracing the Awkward. So search it up. It'll pop up. and you'll be able to get it. Also, the link will be in the description of this video as well. So let's see. Let's read through some of your comments here, guys. This is a Q&A video, so definitely bring in your questions. I want to hear everything that's on your minds, everything you guys are thinking about when it comes to starting a conversation with someone. So let's see. Um, so the way that this is going to work is I'm just going to kind of scroll through and pick questions randomly. So if I miss your question, feel free to put it back in. Let's see. So DXY Edwin says, well, I have a question I have is, well, I talk to a girl I like and make her laugh a lot. Sometimes I caught her looking at me several times, even in a far distance from the classroom. Might she like me? That's a really good question, Edwin. So here's what I would have to say on that. A lot of times, people take things like looks or smiles or people staring at you for a few seconds as signs of interest, and they kind of get hung up on those little details. Oh, she moved her hair. Oh, she winked at me. Oh, she was gossiping around me. And we kind of look to those things, and we really like see them as the tried and true sign of interest from that other person. But I don't think those are the best signs we should be looking for. I think the signs we should be looking for are things as simple as this. Is that person willing to spend time with you and is willing to talk to you? If that person wants to be around you, that's the biggest sign you can have. So if a person just kind of laughs at something you say, or they smile at something you say, or even if they look at you, I wouldn't take that as an ultimate sign, because here's the thing. People can do those things and still not totally be romantically attracted to you. They might just be doing it because they're curious or they're bored, or you just happen to catch their eye at a certain time. So I wouldn't look too much into that. When it comes to really discovering if someone likes you, start a conversation with them, talk to them, get to know them better. And from that, you'll see where they stand. Laurel versus Yanni. I heard that today. I didn't know what it was until a little earlier. I'd have to say it was Laurel. I listened to it, and in the beginning it was Yanni, and then it eventually turned to Laurel, which was really weird. When is the winner announced? That's a good question, Atlanta boy. So back to the book thing. I'm also doing a giveaway. I'm giving away a free autographed copy of my book, Embracing the Awkward. So if you guys want to enter to win, the contest is ending at midnight tonight, and that's when I'm going to choose a winner. The link is also going to be in the description below. It's thejoshspeaks.com/giveaway. You can go there. You can enter to win a free copy. And if you don't, you can always order the book over on Amazon, which is really cool. So let's see. Corey Mangan says, I never talked to my crush, and yesterday was her birthday. I said it to her twice, and she said, thank you so much. Do I start talking to her a lot? So if yesterday was your crush's birthday and you said happy birthday to her twice, the thing is, it's like those little actions like that, saying happy birthday to someone, or just wishing them a good day and things like that. Those are good, positive things that you should be doing. You should be talking to your crush and engaging with them from time to time. What you ultimately want to do is, if you want it to lead into something else, you have to converse with them, or you have to have deeper conversations. Yesterday's video, I talked all about how to have deeper conversations with someone. I'll link that up over here for you guys. But having deeper conversations allows you to really connect with them better. That person will start to feel like you really understand them, that you really listen to them, that you really care about what they have to say. And ultimately, that's what's going to push you guys forward and get you closer to your crush. So RB, I saw that you said you can't get the book and you're mad. What I would do is, if you can't order the book, talk to your parents about it. See if your parents would be open for you getting it. Let them know that this is a YouTuber that inspires you, and share that information with them. Let's see. Mystified said, hey, Josh, I'm in a dilemma right now. I have a girlfriend, but I'm getting attracted to another girl, but I don't want to cheat. What should I do? Okay. That's a good question here. So currently you're in a relationship, but you're starting to have feelings for another girl. Ultimately, this is not a decision that rests on your girlfriend or the other girl's hands. This is a decision that rests on your hands. You have to decide who matters to you, right? Is this new girl worth pursuing? And if she is, I would say, before you even go any further, break things off with your girlfriend. But if your girlfriend really means something to you, if you value what you guys have and you want it to build into a long-term thing, then you kind of have to just put your feelings aside for this other girl. Just because you have feelings for someone else doesn't mean you have to act on them, right? We all like multiple people. Even when we're in relationships, we can interact with someone and be attracted to them, but it's our willpower to kind of, and plus the matter of respect for the person we're with, to just not kind of do things behind their back or just drop them on a whim, But if you don't really care about your girlfriend and you want to be with this other girl, then, do what you have to do. So Dark Soul, let me see. Staring down myself, counting up the years. Let me see. Gotta live, we're dying. Let me see. I'm not sure where your question was. Let's see. Mm. Eli Raymond says, "Hey Josh, I have a question. What are your favorite things that you use to keep conversations going?" So this is a good question. So for me, one of one of the tricks I use, and I say trick in more of like a, not like in a trick you're tricking someone, but in a trick like a mental thing, like let me do that type of way, is one of the things I always do is I always kind of ask a follow up question that's related to what we're talking about. So if, for example, we're talking about, let's say, summer plans, right? What we're going to do this summer. And I'm talking to someone about what their plans are for the summer. And they kind of tell me, oh, I'm probably just going to hang out at home, not really going to do anything special. Um, that conversation seems like it came to an end, but you might want to follow up and keep the conversation going by saying, well, if you could do anything you wanted to, if you could travel to any country you wanted to, or do any kind of crazy activity or fun event, what would you want to do? Right? So I kind of took the situation, and even though the answer that they may have given was a bit dry and didn't really kind of lead anywhere, I kind of still answered the question and kind of asked another question as if what they did say was something meaningful and fun. So even if they said, I'm not really doing anything, and I said to them, like, oh, what would you do if you could do anything you wanted to? Now that gives them an opportunity to continue talking. So once they say, well, I'd love to go, I don't know, ride on a sailboat, right? Now I can ask them a question. Wow, well, what is it that you like about sailboating? What is it that you like about, I don't know, going on roller coasters? What is it you like about swimming? whatever they kind of follow up with, I would always ask more in-depth questions, because in asking more in-depth questions, you show them that you care about what they have to say, and you just show genuine curiosity for who they are. And that's really the key. The key really is to kind of to let them see that, that the conversation doesn't have to get awkward and weird at that point, and you have every opportunity to prevent it. So definitely asking a follow-up question is a good way to keep the conversation going. Another thing too that I've noticed is that even when follow-up questions kind of start to fall down, it's like they're not really giving you anything, I would always just launch into a scenario or story or something that's going on in your own life and ask for their opinion or advice on it. So for example, like if I was talking to someone and the conversation was running dry, I would turn to the fact that I have a book, and I would ask them, hey, what do you think are some good places that I can maybe reach out to help promote my book? And maybe they share their advice or their ideas or things like that. So share a piece of your own story and what you're going through, because maybe they have some advice or they can find a way to bring themselves back into the conversation that way. So Joanna asks, what state do I live in? I'm from New York. Let's see. So, all right. Let's see. Dark Soul 76. I said, Josh, how do I let go of the past memories? And I said, they were just such better days. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from, Jack. Like, a lot of times when we reflect on the past, reflect on things that we experienced, sometimes we just look back and we're nostalgic for those days. We look back and go, man, things were great. I didn't have to worry about anything. There were no problems in my life. Life was simpler. And I think as you move forward in life, you're always going to kind of look back at the past and feel that way in a way. And the reason, sorry. The reason for that is because the reason you kind of look back on the past nostalgically is because when you're in the present moment, you're very aware of your responsibilities and all the things you have to do. But when you look back at the past, you only remember the pieces and the moments here and there of what you had to do. Like when I think back to like college or high school, I'm like, man, they were such simpler times. But I remember when I was in high school and college, I was stressed out. I had homework. I had to study for tests, so I try to be aware of the fact that, like, it's not so much that times were better, but times were different. In certain situations, things could have been better, maybe they were better in certain situations as well, but times were different. And I think it's not, you're not being fair to yourself when you kind of compare your now versus then, because all you have is the now. And even though those memories are kind of there and you kind of think about them from time to time, what really matters most is how you choose to live your life now. So taking control and ownership of your life in this present moment is the best thing that you can do. And finding different ways or people to talk to that can help you do that is the best way to kind of move forward, because you can't go back and change the past, whether it was good or bad. There's nothing you can do about it. It existed. It was a time that went, and that's really all that matters. But I understand where you're coming from. It's, like I said, sometimes you look back at the past and it's like, man, things were different then. So I get where you're coming from. Let's see. Huzzy 10 says, Josh, I have a question. How to get a girl to notice you without being too awkward? So Huzzy, if you look at my channel, I maybe 2 weeks ago or so, I did a whole week's worth of videos on awkwardness and dealing with awkwardness and getting a girl to notice you and things like that. So you might want to check out that awkward playlist that I made. But ultimately, when it comes to getting a girl to notice you without kind of being weird about it, without saying or doing anything weird, really what it comes down to is you have to kind of first feel secure with who you are. You have to feel confident in your own sense of being. If you're not confident in who you are, then there's no way someone outside is going to observe you as being confident. So really what you should focus on is kind of solidifying the things that you enjoy doing, the person that you are, the type of relationships and connections you have. I think that's going to help you really kind of move forward in this way where people can look at you and say, especially your crush can look at you and say, wow, that person kind of has it figured out. They know what they want. They know what they want to do. And that's someone that I want to be around. So the first step in kind of not being too awkward around your crush is kind of standing on your own 2 feet and really saying, I want to pursue this. I enjoy this hobby. I'm going to do that. I'm going to really focus on school. Now, if you want your crush to notice you specifically, then I think the best thing is to talk to them, right? There's no good and no use of your crush just kind of observing you without any kind of interaction. Your best bet to really get them to notice you is to interact with them. Let's see. Hmm. Let's see. Okay, David69K20 says, Josh, I've been noticing that my friend likes my crush. What should I do? That's a good question, David. Um, it's a tough one because when your friend ends up liking your crush, it's always a hard conversation to have, and it's an awkward conversation, but it's a conversation that should probably happen. Now, here's my philosophy. Oh, keep yawning. My allergies kill me, guys. They keep me up at night. It's just difficult for me to sleep, and then I'm just tired throughout the day. Okay, so so having that conversation with your friend about having the same crush. Really, my philosophy is this: if you like the girl first, or you like the guy first, in this case, I think you like the girl first. Um, then you should probably have the first kind of aim or opportunity to kind of talk to her and ask her out. Your friend should kind of stand back and be a little bit more respectful of that. Now, just because he likes her doesn't mean that's a bad thing, right? Like I said before, we all have feelings for different people, and that's okay. It's how we act on our feelings or when we choose not to act on our feelings that really matter. So I would talk to your friend about it, let him know, hey, I really like this girl. But this is the thing that a lot of guys tend to do. They'll like a girl, and then their friend will like that girl, but they'll tell their friend, hey, don't go after her. But they themselves won't go after the girl. So David, don't be one of those guys. If you like this girl, and your friend likes her too, pursue her, talk to her, ask her out, see where it can go. If nothing works out and she just doesn't like you, then I'd say hands off and let your friend talk to her. I feel like that's the only fair thing to do. That way, it's like no one's stepping on toes and everyone's being respectful. And look, at the end of the day, the girl decides who she wants to be with, not you or your friend. So, but you're kind of choosing or allowing kind of you guys are following the bro code essentially and allowing the person who liked her first to kind of have the first aim at talking to her and getting to know her better. Jack followed up. You're right, man. I've just been having a lot of bad times lately. Thanks for answering my question. No problem, man. I know how tough it is. We've talked in the past, and you've shared a lot with me, and you got a lot. You have a lot to deal with, a lot on your mind, a lot just to deal with in life, guy. And I'm sure there's a lot of people here too. I'm curious. Let's do a quick poll here. If you feel like you're dealing with hard times, whether it's hard times with family, hard times with your health, hard times with school or with your crush, you just feel down, you feel beat up, I want you guys to post a fruit or vegetable emoji right now in the chat. And the reason I want you guys to do that is so that Dark Gel can see that he's not alone in this experience, that other people too are dealing with hard issues, and that I think that the best thing that we can do is to recognize that we're not the only ones going through experiences, that there are other people going through them too, and that we can share that with each other. We can talk and we can work towards a solution just by communicating. I see a bunch of people. Hey, look, Dark Soul, Pro Player, Finch Gaming, Goose, Benjamin Howard, Atlanta Boy Dylan, Gamerski Dylan again, Reaping Glory. A lot of us guys. I'd put my own fruit emojis right now if I type it too. But Triple C Productions, we're all dealing with different kinds of things, and the fact of the matter is we have to be here for each other. That's what this whole community in the Josh Speaks really is about. This idea, or the idea that I focus on, which is working towards being your best self. The whole idea is to kind of empower yourself to grow and learn so that you can go and change the world, so that you can be somebody great. And we can only really be great if we kind of use the skills and the things that we learn to help other people. So helping someone else could be something as simple as shooting them a message, reaching out and asking them, hey man, how's everything going? I talk a lot about conversations and stuff, and my advice for starting a conversation too is it's like that's a huge piece of it too. Just sometimes reaching out and sometimes just letting someone know that we're here to listen to them and we're here to be there for them. That conversation can be so powerful. It can be so helpful, you know? Group hug. Yeah. And I'm not saying this to make everyone kind of sit there and go, oh. That's not what this is about. It's just a matter of like, we got each other's back, and that's cool. And that's important. So Jack, we're all here for you, man. All right, so Stormblade RPG says, do you know any good icebreaker convo starters? So Stormblade, that's a really good question because I have a video and a free guide if you want to check it out called 20 Icebreaker Conversation Starters. And in that guide, I break down 20 different things that you could say in a conversation with someone to kind of break the ice, to kind of get them to open up a little bit. So if you search that up on YouTube, 20 Icebreaker Conversation Starters, you'll find my video. It'll link you over to the free guide. Just download the guide. You think you just put your email in there and good to go. And in that, I break down different things you could say. Things like talking to them. If you had $1 million, what would you do with it? What's your favorite kind of pet? And then I kind of I pose these questions, and then I say like, okay, if they give you no response, say this. If they give you some response, but you want to keep going, say this. So I think that guide is really in depth. Definitely check it out. That icebreaker guide, I think, is really good. And like build a second piece to it, which is going to come soon. Let's see. A Goose says, hey Josh, I'm in high school and I'm having a bit of trouble with this girl. She wants to be me. But her parents are very strict. I'm assuming he said she wants to be with you, and her parents are very strict and said she can't date. So, should I let my feelings go for her? Okay, that's a good question, Goose. So I've done a few videos on that, talking to your parents, or in this case, for her, talking to her parents and letting them kind of be more comfortable with you dating their daughter, which in some cases, look, parents may just not want their kids to be dating yet. Now, this is why conversation really is so important, guys, because the only way that you're going to be able to make it work, if you can, if they allow it at the end of the day, is if you're open to talking with her and talking with them. They probably don't want her to date for a few different reasons. One, they might feel she's too young, she's not ready to start dating, it's just not a good idea. Two might be that they want her to focus on their schoolwork, right? On her schoolwork, that they want her to kind of not get distracted by boys and to fall on that path, but just to say, hey, focus on school. You're there to learn. You're not there to kind of date guys. Or the third reason is maybe they personally don't like you, or they're worried. They don't know who you are. I think that in the first two scenarios, the one that they don't want her to date and they want her to focus on school, that's fair. There's not much you can do in those scenarios because, hey, those are the parents' wishes. That's okay. But in the third scenario, you could potentially show them that you are a good guy. And that all starts with having conversations. So one little kind of technique that I've learned is that you can always try talking to her and maybe FaceTiming. And then if her parents are around while you guys are FaceTiming, she can say, hey, to her parents, so-and-so wants to say hi to you guys and just, wish you guys a good day. So she can turn the camera, show them who you are. The parents see you. You kind of say, hey, I just want to wish you guys a good day. I want to say hi, and then the parents start to think, okay, he seems like a good guy. He doesn't seem like a weirdo, or he's trying to take her off path. It's okay, fine. It's okay for them to have a friend. It's okay for them to have a friendship. Getting tongue-tied on my own words. And as you do that more and more, they'll start to be more comfortable knowing that you're talking to their daughter. So that might be a way for you guys to potentially lead it to dating in the future if they don't really know who you are. But it all starts with having that conversation, just showing them that you're just a person, and then for them to recognize that you're not this kind of weirdo that's going to set their daughter off path and ruin her whole school, experience. SB Dre says, "Why is Josh ignoring my question?" I'm not ignoring your question. I'm just kind of skimming through the chat and stuff. It's jumping around. So if I do miss your question, guys, I apologize. You can type it back in the chat. Another way is if you donate a super chat. For those of you guys that don't know, the super chat's a little $ button on the bottom where you guys are typing in the chat. It's a little super chat button. And if you click that, it'll pop up a little message and it'll put it right in front of me. And whenever I get super chats, I kind of focus solely on those. So if you have a question that you are dying for me to answer, you can always do that through a super chat. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep jumping through the chat and kind of grabbing things as I see them. Let's see. Finch Gaming says, on the last day of school, I'm going to say to my crush if she wants a goodbye hug, since we probably won't see each other during the summer. I hear you on that, Finch. So I talk about that in a video that I did. How to say goodbye to your crush, for the summer. The last time you're going to see them for the summer. And I think that's a good plan. I mean, if you've never really talked to her before, you can always offer her a goodbye hug and say, "Oh, it's nice seeing you. Hope I'll see you when school starts again." I do think, though, that, if your first real interaction with her is going to be the hug before you go into the summer, I think that really the piece you need to work on is feeling comfortable enough to talk to her before you get to that point, right? So I would say even before you give her that goodbye hug or offer it to her, try to start a conversation with her. Ask her what she's doing for the summer. Ask her what her plans are. That way, when you do get to the hug, which may be, let's say, a week before school ends, she'll feel way more open and way more comfortable with it. I'd say that would be a good strategy or technique you can pull in. Let's see. Okay, Brian Garcia says, "Hey, I'm talking to a girl that is more mature than me. She's 18, in school, and has a job. I'm 17, expelled, but I'm being better. How should I talk and act with her to go farther?" I hear you on that, Brian. So it sounds to me like you might personally feel like the two of you are in different kind of on different wavelengths or in different leagues of some nature, where you feel like maybe she has everything together. You kind of had a few bumps in your road, and you might feel like that's what's creating the distance. So the fact is, you guys are 17, 18. I mean, other than the legal age thing, it's like, I think 17 and 18 might be fine to date depending on where you live. But ultimately, I wouldn't beat yourself up and say like, "Oh, I got expelled and this and that makes me less of a person." It doesn't make you less of a person. You can be just as kind, just as smart, just as interesting as anyone else, regardless if they went to school or not, or have a job or not. So I wouldn't beat yourself up over those things. I think where you're really going to stand out is in showcasing your personality and her really connecting to that personality. So even if she's 18 and she's older and a little bit more mature, maybe it's a matter of just looking at your own life and saying, well, what are things I can maybe improve to be more mature, to feel more confident in who I am? But don't beat yourself up if you're not there where you want to be already. I would still talk to her. I would still get to know her. You don't lose anything from showcasing your personality with her. Let's see. ETM on Blitz says, "Josh, so I heard a girl in my grade likes me, but she isn't my taste. Should I try to get to know her? Maybe I end up liking her. I don't know." That's interesting. So what do you do if someone has a crush on you, but you've never, you don't really like them and you don't know them that well? Well, I think in that case, I don't see any harm in really taking time to hang out with her a little bit to really get to know her better. Now, what you'd maybe want to establish in the beginning is that you just want to get to know her better to see where things go. You don't want to lead her on. You don't want to lead her on and have her believe that you are dating her or you guys are boyfriend and girlfriend. So you might want to just say that in the beginning, like, "Hey, let's just hang out and get to know each other better and see where things go." And take that approach with it, because who knows, maybe you do end up liking this girl. Maybe you realize she's a really awesome person to hang around and you're like, "Wow, I never would have known that had I not spent time talking to you." So, everything comes back to conversations. Everything comes back to learning about other people and not kind of prejudging a situation and telling ourselves like, "Oh, she's not someone I would like. I'm not going to waste my time talking to her," because you never really know, you know? It's hard for me to enjoy my hobbies like I did 3 years ago. I hear you, Jack. Things are not as easy. And I get it, man. I know how tough it is for you, man. Let's see. Joel says, "What do you think I should talk about when I meet up with my crush at a concert next week so it's not awkward?" We already agreed on meeting up. Okay, Joel, that's perfect. So the two of you are going to a concert, or you're going to go to the concert separately, and you're probably going to meet at the concert. I think I got a Instagram message from you, maybe mentioned. I don't remember, but I think so. I think here's the thing. It's like if you two, and this goes for anyone, if you and your crush have a common interest, meaning you guys are doing something similar, whether it's going to a sports game or a concert, or you both like a certain musician or whatever it is, that is the perfect conversation piece for you two. Right? You're both going to be at that concert. You can ask her, "Hey, have you ever been to any other concerts before? Is this your first time going to a concert? How long have you been listening to this artist? What are other artists that you like?" You can just follow the topic of music and really, really learn a lot about her music hobbies. And another thing too is that meeting at the concert, you might want to just like sing along with whoever's performing and then get her to sing along too. You guys can kind of share that moment and that experience together of really just bonding over the thing you're experiencing. And that's an important thing because think about it like this. Why do we feel so attached to our classmates? We feel like they're our classmates, right? Everyone is individually learning there, right? Like you're not actually attached to any of these people, but you feel a sense of attachment to your classmates because you're all experiencing the same thing. You're all in that class together. You're all learning together. You're all hearing a teacher together. You're all getting graded together. It's a shared experience with these people, so you feel a bond with them. That's why a lot of people when they graduate high school, it's like they feel a bond with their year of, like, oh, I'm 2018. This is my class, my year. So that's the thing. It's like when you're at the concert with her and you're singing along and you guys are dancing, whatever you're doing to the music, you really can bond together over that experience. So that's what you should aim to do. And I think that'll help you it'll make it less awkward if you just ask her more and learn more about her musical interests. Let's see. Oh, I missed a lot of the chat here. Okay. All right, let's jump here. So the Atlanta boy says, "What should I do since my crush removed me on Snapchat?" That's a good question. If your crush removed you on Snapchat, a lot of people ask me this. Josh, I got blocked. Josh, my crush doesn't talk to me. She doesn't respond. All these different things. If your crush removed you on Snapchat, there's probably a reason for that, right? You have to ask yourself a few things. You have to kind of do a little detective work. Did I say something that maybe upset them? Did I message them too much? Did I message them out of nowhere and they don't know who I am? Like did I never speak to them or acknowledge them in person, but I messaged them so they feel weird about that? There's a lot of different potential reasons of why you could have got removed. But if you did get removed or blocked or anything of that nature, the best to them in person, right? That you have a little bit more control over. Like if they block you on Snapchat, I wouldn't create a second account and message them, "Why'd you block me?" I wouldn't do any of that. Try to talk to them in person. And the thing is, in talking to them in person, you don't have to talk about why you got blocked or that you got blocked at all. What I would really focus on talking to them about is just anything else that has nothing to do with blocking. Because what you want to do is show them, "Hey, I'm not a bad person. I'm a pretty cool guy." But you don't want to directly say that. Instead, you want to show that by just talking to them and getting to know her and getting to know them better. So that's would be the strategy if you've been blocked or they deleted you or anything of that nature. Uh, okay, so Patrick Morrissey says, "Josh, what do I do when me and my friend are being shipped?" So that's a good one. That's a good question there. So if you and your friend are being shipped and people are kind of poking fun and things like that, you have to ask yourself, when people ship people, it doesn't mean the two of you are dating or like each other or anything. It's just people's imaginations running wild. So honestly, I think the strongest place to be would be able to just kind of laugh it off and say, "All right, that's funny. You guys want to have jokes and stuff. That's okay. Listen, it's not hurting anyone." Now, maybe you feel though it bothers you in some way, and that's something we should really explore because people shipping you doesn't mean you guys are being forced to do anything. Like you might just want to kind of jokingly brush it off and just tell people, don't pay attention to it. People are just, having fun. Try your best to kind of get in that mindset where it's not something too serious, where it's going to actually affect you. Now, in some cases, when things like that happen, let's say with you and your crush and people start doing it, your crush might feel nervous and awkward, like, "Oh no, I don't want people to think I like them." So that's a conversation you try to have with your crush. And that's what I'm saying. It's a matter of calming those nerves and letting them see like, "Hey, like it isn't such a big deal. People are just joking around and being stupid." Benjamin Howard says, "Josh, my crush always talks to me and blows a friendly kiss at me after school when I go home. Should I ask her out because she's really deep with me?" So Benjamin, yeah, it sounds to me like if she's flirtatious and she jokes around with you like that and you like her, I would definitely ask her to hang out. It depends on when you say ask her out. So here's the thing, guys. Asking out can mean a lot of different things. Asking out could mean, hey, let's be boyfriend and girlfriend. Asking out could be, hey, let's hang out together. Asking out could just be something as like, let's take time right now just to get to know each other. So whatever you're capable of, whatever you feel comfortable with, I would go with that form of asking her out, whatever makes sense to you. But it sounds to me like she enjoys her time around you, and I would totally go for it. Who won the book? Meme Man asked. So Meme Man, I'm gonna decide the book winner. It's gonna the deadline is midnight tonight. So if everyone keeps joining in, guys, for those who don't already know, I have a book that I just put out. It's available now on Amazon. You can order it. It's called Embracing the Awkward. It's the first book I've ever written, like a full real book. So I'm super proud of it. It's all about helping teens and young adults kind of succeed at school, life, relationships, all the different things you guys are experiencing, kind of put it together in a book. I think it's a great book for any teenager that's kind of trying to discover who they are, trying to feel more secure and happy with themselves. So definitely check it out. The link is down there in the description below. You can go check it out. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Alondra Cruz says they were saying they were planning to hang out together after school, but they didn't invite me. And all three of them were talking amongst themselves. I felt excluded. They do this sometimes, and I don't like it. What should I do? Also, I'm scared to lose them. Alondra, I did a video on this last week where I talked about what it's like to be excluded from a group of friends, or to be kind of not included in things. And I think a big piece of it is that it just shows that maybe there's a distance growing between you and those people. And the best thing for you to do is to talk to them about it, right? Talk to them about the fact that you do feel a little excluded, and you want to know where everyone stands. You want to know if everyone's cool with you, and what's kind of happened that's changed the atmosphere. If you don't address that conversation, it's just going to keep loosening more and more until eventually both of you are just not going to talk to each other anymore. You're going to reach a point where it's like, hey, things just they're not the same, and they're not like they used to be, and we just don't have that comfort around each other anymore. So conversation is the best way to kind of approach it. And sometimes too, if at the end of the day your friends just kind of don't really want to include you anymore, really the best thing is to look for new friends, to move on. It's not the easiest answer, but it's probably the most real answer. So Jack saying, talking about his grandfather. Sorry, talking about his grandfather. I now wear my grandpa's hat in his honor. It was my first hat in my collection. I started in 2015. My grandpa was the best man I knew. I'm sorry, Jack. I'm so sorry to hear what happened to your grandfather, man. It's not easy at all. Losing a loved one, and that's another topic that I'm going to cover a whole week on. Really, it's dealing with death, dealing with loss. I want to share my own personal experiences in there. It's going to be a tough week, but I think it's going to be an important week for a lot of us. And Jack, I think that losing your grandfather is probably going to be one of the toughest things you've gone through. I think that week I'm definitely going to do a fan collab. It's going to be a hard one, but I think it's important for us to share and talk about the people that we love and that we care about. So I'm definitely going to do that. And Jack, I'll definitely message you so you can share your own story in there as well. Gamer skis says, what helped me a little is religion. Yeah, I mean, in times like that where you feel lost and you feel hopeless and you feel hurt, turning to religion or turning to spirituality or turning to God, whatever works within your life is maybe the best way to go. Let's see. Awesomeness says, hey, Josh, you said you'd be doing more videos about moving schools. Yeah, I definitely want to do more stuff. I'm definitely going to have more videos coming up soon on just the idea of kind of changing your atmosphere, trying new things, being somewhere new. I did do a video, I think 2 weeks ago or a week ago, on change. And at the beginning of the week, it was all about kind of being the new kid at school. So going to a new school and having to deal with that new environment, which is not easy. But it's not easy to deal with that new environment, but it's definitely helpful to know how you can walk through it and feel comfortable with who you are. So I share that in the video. Let's see. Alondra follows up with, "We are all seniors and we're going to college in the fall. No one I know or none of my friends are attending the college, but I'm going to. Feel excited about college, but nervous. I'll miss my friends." Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I remember when I graduated high school, it's like none of my friends were going to my school either. And it was sad. It's like, I'm going to have to start over. But once I got to college, what I started to realize is that, there were new people here for me to interact with, new people for me to be friends with. And I kind of started to develop new friends there. So, I trust that you will find your own, groove, and you'll meet new people and things will be okay. Let's see. Insta after party today. You know it, Atlanta boy. For those of you guys that don't know, after my YouTube live streams, I always jump on Instagram. People always ask me what's my Instagram. My Instagram is the Josh Speaks. I'm the Josh Speaks on everything. And I always do an Instagram after party. So I just do a live stream over on Instagram where it's a little bit less formal. We just chat, we hang out, my phone tends to freeze. Hopefully it won't freeze again this time. But I'll definitely be doing one of those. But yeah, I mean, look, conversations can be difficult because sometimes we just don't know what to say. We don't know how to approach them. We don't know how to do that, how to have them without being awkward. But at the end of the day, you have to think about this. The person that you're talking to, what they want from you is to feel comfortable. And what you want from them is to feel comfortable. So both people are looking for comfort from the other person, right? No one wants to be in an awkward conversation. No one. So the way to kind of make that conversation not awkward is sometimes to just address head on the things that you're nervous about. Like if you're nervous in front of someone, you might just want to say, "Hey, I'm a little bit nervous right now, but I do really want to talk to you because you are an interesting person. I do want to get to know you better." Sometimes just saying that, just being honest about what you're experiencing, allows the other person to let their guard down. They might start to say, "Wow, I didn't know you were nervous. I'm nervous too." And we don't have to be nervous. We can be cool with each other. So, see, ETM says, "Josh, could you do a video on the different types of asking out and how to do this? This is something I really want to learn more about." Yeah, ETM, I mean, there's a million different ways to ask someone out. I've done tons of videos on how to ask a girl out on Facebook, on Instagram, in school, in college, at work, um, a girl that's your best friend. Any of these type of scenarios, I've covered a lot of them. So if there's a specific type of thing that you want to know, let me know and I'll definitely add it to my list. Let's see. Silurvex Keith says, "One of my best friends is being a dick. Brings me down and insults me for nothing. Fun thing. Apologizes but continues. What should I do?" That's a good question, Keith. Um, I did a video on this last week as well, which is kind of dealing with negative people and deciding when to let go of negative people from your life. So here's the thing. Sometimes we keep friends around because they're our friends and we've known them for so long. And we tell ourselves, no, they're not so bad. It's not the end of the world. I'd rather not lose them as a friend. And instead, I'll deal with the kind of negativity they bring me, but I don't want to lose them as a friend. Well, here's the tough choice you have to make. You have to ask yourself, what's more important? Your sense of well-being, feeling comfortable, feeling happy, or maintaining this person in your life just because they've been there for a long time? I think it's more important to take care of yourself and to surround yourself with positive people, because when you're surrounded by positive people, your energy jumps up, your excitement jumps up, your willpower jumps up. But when you're with someone that's bringing you down, that's insulting you, it's making you feel like crap, like that's just not a person that's going to help elevate you. So here's what I would suggest doing. I wouldn't say just out of nowhere be like, "Peace, see you later," and cut them off. Just try to distance yourself little by little. Stop hanging out with them. If you have to make excuses up and say, like, "I can't hang out, I'm busy, this and that," start doing that every once in a while. Start cutting them out slowly from your life. And then eventually they'll eventually realize, hey, like this person's not as active or around as much for me to be with them. And hopefully they move on. Now, like I said, if this person just really is bringing you down, you want less of them in your life, not more. So try to start phasing them out as best as you can. Let's see. Uh, Dark Souls, it says, "I really appreciate your stream, Josh. It's such a nice place to share my feelings." No problem, man. That's really what this is about. It's like there's a topic we're talking about. Okay, advice on starting a conversation. Well, that can mean a lot of different things. Sometimes It's simply a matter of just sharing what you're feeling. Sometimes that's the conversation that needs to happen. So I always feel like you guys help control the direction of everything that's going on here when you share your personal stories, when you share your experiences. And that's what's so amazing about this. Like, we all learn from each other and we realize, hey, there are people out there that are good, kind people that care about us and want the best for us. So I think that's what's so important. That's what I experience when I see from you guys here in the chat. So I think it's a great thing. So let's jump back in. More questions, guys. Sometimes when I text my crush, this is Finch Gaming, she doesn't respond, but we still talk a lot in person. That's a good question. So some people just aren't as active on text. They just don't text as much, but they're really active in person. If that's the case, I would try to find out, try to talk to her and say something like, um, you might want to say something to her like, hey, how come you just like totally non-existent on text? Like, you're just not a texter. Try to really discover where she stands, the kind of person she is, and everything like that, because that'll help you. That'll help you really start to see whether or not the best place to converse with her is in person or through text. Some people just aren't texters, and we have to be okay with that. Let's see. Bolivar Morales says, Josh, how do I talk to someone when I have no hobbies? All I do is study for university, and people don't like to know how to go to school, I guess. So Bolivar, I hear you on that. Some people don't really have hobbies. Some people just are laser focused on school, and that's what they really want to concentrate on. I think it's important to not overload yourself with only focusing on school. It is important to have hobbies because here's the thing. When you're learning and you're focusing on schoolwork, you're having a very structured way of kind of seeing the world. And hobbies allow you to kind of have a creative way to experience the world. So whether you're playing an instrument, whether you are let's say playing a sport, whether you go for walks, whatever your hobby may be, that allows your creative side, the creative side of your brain to kind of work and be put to use. And if you only focus on the logical study, this and this, you're also not going to feel as fulfilled because you're always in a rat race of chasing. I need to study for the next test, I need to get the next best grade, I need to do this, I need to do that. You never allow yourself to simply say, hey, um if I want to do this, I will. If I don't, I don't want. You're not giving yourself that flexibility. So it's important to build that flexibility in your life. You don't want to just be too structured. You do need time to be creative, to sit there with a blank canvas and say, I can draw whatever I want, versus being told you have to draw this. It's okay to draw whatever you want. So I think that's the first thing you should focus on, developing hobbies. Now, it might be difficult for you to talk to people when you have no hobbies because of that exact reason. You're focused too much on school. I think once you start incorporating more hobbies and things into your life, it might be easier for you to connect with people. And if you want to, you can always just ask people what their hobbies are, what they like to do for fun. Learn from others, because that might open up the doors for things that you never discovered you wanted to do that you want to do. Let's see. Benjamin says, Josh, I might not come tonight because I need sleep. I'm very tired, but join next time. No problem, Benjamin. I know you're over in the UK, so it's late for you. I appreciate it every time you do jump on these streams. David says he just reached 50 subs. Awesome work, David. I'm proud of you, man. Let's see. So I'm gonna keep this going till around 6:05 or so, because I know I started a little late. Just to kind of wrap up an hour here. But if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button, guys. As many likes as we can get on this video, that'll get it seen by the most amount of people. So, and also ask your questions. What are different things that you want to know about starting a conversation that you struggle with? Let's see. Tropic Slice YouTube YT says, how do I talk to my crush when we walk in different directions every day? That's a good question. So Tropic, if you guys kind of walk past each other and go on with your day, you might have to try to change the way that you do things. You might have to kind of maybe walk her way one day and say, oh, I'm just heading over here for whatever reason. I'm going to the store. I'm just meeting up with a friend, something just to have an opportunity to talk with her. Because if you're waiting for the right opportunity to just fall in your lap for her to just be standing there in front of you and saying, okay, talk to me, it's never going to happen. You have to make those opportunities. Sometimes that's deviating from the path that you're used to and kind of creating a new opportunity for yourself. So if you guys walk in different directions, try walking in her direction one day. Say, hey, I'm meeting up with a friend. So where are you off to? Are you heading home? Okay, cool. So what classes are you taking? Things like that. But it just requires you to kind of break from tradition and norm and just trying something new. Juan Rosales says, Josh, what do I say to a girl once you ask her out and she says no? What do I say? So if you ask the girl out, she said no, okay, things might feel awkward or weird. What do you do about it? Well, if she doesn't want to date you, if she's not in that position where she likes you or wants to pursue anything with you, the best thing to do is to kind of let her be. Now, you might be asking, yeah, but why? I want to go out with her. Why would I let her be? Well, you need to give her time to kind of really be able to reevaluate you again, right? And plus, you need that time to kind of grow on your own as well. A lot of people just, want to ask out their crush. Oh, they said no. Okay. Well, how do I ask him out again? How do I ask him again? And you keep doing it without changing anything. Nothing's changed. You haven't changed your perspective and how you approach. She hasn't changed her feelings for you. Why would her response be different the second time if nothing new has come about? So I think if you ask someone out, they say no, try to focus on yourself for a bit. Try to talk to other girls. Try to ask other girls out. And then later in the future, maybe come back to that crush and say, hey, I haven't talked to you in a bit. What have you been up to? What are you doing this Friday or whatever it is? Because then once she sees that you're a different person, you've gained a little bit of experience in life, she might change her opinion. Let's see. Where did it go? Okay. Mint is needed says if you hug your girlfriend for the first time, I asked her, "Do you want to hug every day?" When we say bye, she said, "I don't care. You choose." I told her to choose. She said, "I don't know." Does it mean she's not interested? Okay. So Mint, that's a good question. Here's the thing. So a lot of times when you ask questions like that, and the person's like, "I don't care. Whatever you want to do." It's possible that she's speaking from a place of nervousness. It sounds to me like she's nervous and maybe afraid, and maybe doesn't want to push things. If you want to hug and you want to establish that as a norm, then I would say go for it. Sometimes you need to take the lead in things because other people will only feel comfortable once they know that the other person is going to help secure that for them. So just simply, hair flew in my mouth. Um, just simply going for the hug and offering the hug, I think is going to get her more accustomed to it. Now, if she's not interested or she feels weird about it, she'll say that. But I would err on the side of caution here, and I would not err on the side of caution. I would just actually go for it, go for the hugs, and see how she feels about that. Any advice on awkwardness during the conversation? Yeah, so gamers ski. If you end up feeling awkward during a conversation, a big reason for that is because you haven't quite first focused on developing the skills of being confident in just being in the moment, right? So a lot of times we look at situations, and I've fallen guilty of this many times. When we're talking to someone, we feel like they're the one who's grounded and we're the one who's kind of loose and floaty and things like that. You need to be the one that's grounded in the conversation. Now, what does that mean, be grounded? What I mean by being grounded in the conversation means that if you're standing there and no one's saying anything, you don't feel awkward. You don't feel weird. You just feel like, hey, I don't want to talk right now. If they want to talk, they can ask me a question. And that's what I feel like you are on the losing end and you're doing something wrong by not carrying the conversation forward. So a way to kind of defeat that awkwardness, I think, really is to feel comfortable, have things that you can talk about whenever you want, meaning have stories, have questions, things that you can always kind of jump to. A lot of people talk about kind of scripted openers and things like that. For me, it's one thing you may always want to have is like a funny story, something funny that you've gone through or experienced that when things kind of go silent, you may want to bring up that funny story and say, hey, let me tell you a funny story about what happened to me last week, the other day, 5 years ago, and share that story, because those might be the fallbacks that you have to kind of keep things afloat without it getting awkward. But if you do run out of things to say, being confident in your own 2 feet and standing there is saying something simply as like, well, it was nice talking to you. I'll see you later. Being able to say that and walk away shows that you're grounded. You're not kind of wobbly and afraid, like, oh, am I going to do something wrong? You're kind of secure in who you are. Let's see. The eccentric Ravenclaw says, what do I do if I had a friend who has slowly become not so much a friend, went out with a girl, and I'm pretty sure it's over with them? Can I ask her out if I like her? So this goes back to the question I mentioned before where someone said that their friend liked the same girl as them. Now, if your friend went out with this girl and things just didn't work out, I think if you're going to ask this girl out, especially if you're going to ask her out, you should talk to your friend first. See how they feel. Are they okay with you asking out their ex-girlfriend? Or if it's not even their ex-girlfriend, it's just someone that they like, are they okay with that? you know, it's like communication is going to be the key here for you to pursue that girl. You don't ever want to just go for it just because you want to go for it. You really want to take the time to be respectful of your friends. Because if you're not respectful of your friends, then how can they ever rely on you, and how can you ever rely on them? Let's see. Chat is jumping again. Pinky the Flower says, oh, I missed Pinky the Flower's question. All right, let's see what other questions are here, guys. I'm going to stay on for 5 more minutes. Then I'm jumping over to Instagram for the Instagram after party to talk to you guys. What I would definitely suggest is this, guys. What I would suggest is this, guys. If I don't get to answer your question, definitely leave your questions as comments on this video once it goes up, and I'll definitely jump in there and answer every single comment that's on there. Let's see. Diablo says, I'm going to uni. How should I go around making new friends? That's a good question, Diablo. Whenever you're starting university and you're kind of entering this new territory where you don't know anyone, I think the easiest opportunity, especially if you're going as a freshman, is the kids in your class or the people in your class are also freshmen like you. They're all new. So turning to the person sitting next to you and saying, "Hey, cool. What's your major going to be? Or what classes are you taking?" Or something as simple like that can instantly spark friendships. I know that because I've seen it with my own eyes. I did a video a while back about this girl that I really liked that was like super, super attractive. And she would sit in front of me and I would never talk to her because I was so intimidated. I'm like, you know? And then one day this guy just came and sat right next to her, turned to her and said, "Hey, so what other classes are you taking?" And I literally watched them have these basic conversations. They became best friends and then they started going out. Like, I watched it happen every single time they'd come and sit in front of me in class. And it's like, well, this is not a fun thing to watch, but it's possible. And all he did was just ask her, "What classes are you taking? What's your major? Oh, where on campus do you live?" Things like that. So those might be the simple questions you want to ask people, especially if you're starting as a freshman. So let's see. So Pablo Becerra says, "What should I do if I like a girl but her best friend likes me? What should I do so I don't hurt anyone's feelings?" That's a tough one there. How do you kind of navigate this without hurting anyone's feelings? Well, I think the best thing to do is if you like a girl and her best friend's one that likes you, you might want to talk to the best friend and let her know, "Hey, I know that you like me and all, but I really only see you as a friend. I don't want to lead you on. I don't want you to get any mixed feelings. I only see you as a friend." You might want to establish that with the best friend. Now, will that hurt things with your crush? It's possible, but you don't really have a choice here. You have to kind of let the friend know where you stand so that you can pursue the crush. Hopefully, if the friend doesn't feel hurt or bad or anything like that, they'll be okay with you going after your crush, but you have to kind of set things right with the friend first. Pinky asked about fapping. I missed your fapping question, Pinky. If you could type it again, I'll answer it. I did a video on fapping on Josh, is it safe to fap every day if you're a guy? Yeah, I did a video on the no fap challenge a while back, but to that question, is it safe to fap every day if you're a guy? It's totally safe to fap every day if you're a guy. There's scientifically there's nothing wrong with it. Your body kind of regenerates with the sperm and things that you need within the 24-hour cycle. So it's totally healthy and fine, and you're not going to go blind or nothing bad is going to happen to you there. What I would ask is that do you feel like fapping is something that you're becoming addicted to? Because I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with, that they become obsessed with it and they do it 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day just because, like they want to. Or they become addicted to porn and they fap a lot just because it's available and they can do it. So if you fap every day just because you kind of want to, okay. But if you feel like it's becoming an addiction, that's a different kind of step there. And you may want to look into the no fap challenge to help you kind of work through that. Let's see. I'm going to answer two more questions here because I don't want to spring out one. I'll answer 2 more questions, guys. Let's see. Shroomy says, "Josh, I found out that someone likes me, but I'm not sure how to start speaking to her online because we never spoken." Okay. So Shumi, I think you make a good point. You're too shy to talk in person and you want to start speaking to her online. Is that the best approach? Check out the video I did earlier this week where I explain exactly that. I talk about how to message your crush for the first time. That video I think will be super helpful for you in kind of really figuring out how to kind of talk to them, how to open up a conversation with them. In that video, how to message your crush for the first time, I really talk about commenting on their posts, interacting with their stories, things like that. Just being a familiar face that they start to recognize who you are. Now, if you're too scared or nervous to talk to them in person, that's something you're going to definitely want to work on, because where do you expect the online relationship to go? Eventually it has to lead to in person. So you definitely want to work on being comfortable talking to them in person. I do see messaging someone as a secondary technique, not a primary technique. Talking to them in person definitely should be the primary technique. Hey, Kyla Lovecats, good to see you again. All right, I'm going to do one more question here from JH Vlogs and Gaming. What if you like a girl and she's popular and you want to be with her in the future? Okay, so that's a really good question to end it on here. If you like someone and they're popular and you want to be with them, what do you do in that situation? Do you kind of, approach it from a position of like, well, I'm not popular, so she's not going to like me, or do you just treat her like a regular person? Well, to me, the answer is the second, obviously. She's just a regular person. Even if the girl is popular, even if she has a lot of friends, even if she, aces all of her tests and is just wins all the awards in school, she's still a regular person. So I would talk to her and I would approach her like you would any other person. At the end of the day, we're all the same. No one's any different. No one's any better than anyone else. So how do you go about approaching the popular girl? Well, I think it's the same thing. It's like, if a girl is always with her friends, try talking to her and her friends. Get to know them better. That might be actually easier for you. Even try talking and get to know the friends better. That way, the friends can put in a good word with your crush, and things can work out in your favor. So I would try that technique. I definitely have a few videos on asking out the popular girl and things like that. You should definitely check those out, because I think they'll be really helpful for you. But on that note, guys, I am going to wrap up the stream. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up button on this video. We're at 48 likes. Let's see, anyone who hasn't already, see if we can get this video to 50 likes. And on that note, guys, I am going to jump over to Instagram, right? For anyone that doesn't know, my Instagram is thejoshspeaks. Let me just pull it up. The Josh Speaks on Instagram. If you hop on over there, I'm going to do a Instagram live stream. It's kind of an Instagram after party. All the cool kids go there, and it's kind of more laid back, relaxing style. Now, here's the thing: before anyone hops off, guys, like I said, the giveaway for my book ends tonight. So if you haven't already entered, go do that. The link is down there in the description below, thejoshspeaks.com/giveaway. And basically, I'm going to send someone an autographed copy of my new book, Embracing the Awkward. Now, only one person is going to win. So if that one person wins and everyone else doesn't win, you could still order the book. It's available on Amazon, guys. I'm trying to drive as much traffic as I can. I'm trying to get as many reviews as I can. I really want it to succeed on Amazon. Just type in Embracing the Awkward on Amazon. The book will pop up. I think you guys will really like it. It's a book for people just like you and people just like me. People who are really trying to grow, who are trying to have better conversations, who are trying to learn how to talk to others, feel confident in themselves, and kind of approach the world just being somebody great. On that note, guys, I will catch you guys coming out, talking to someone at a school dance. So if you have your prom or anything of that nature, school dance coming up, tomorrow's video is going to be helpful for you guys. On that note, guys, I'll see you over on Instagram. As always, love and peace.